Seems like Chicago is now trying to evict migrants, but these eviction notices aren't really that powerful because guess what? Where are the migrants going to go if you evicted them? Chicago, you invited in 50,000 people, and you have some of them in shelters, some of them are homeless, and some of them are being housed in other public areas. In fact, they're pretty much turning like small communities and their parks and recreational centers into just migrant shelters. It kind of sucks living in a sanctuary city because basically all your public services are really lousy. They're filled with migrants. There's too many people. Now, like I said, Chicago, if they just took in like about, 1 to 2,000 people, it would have been fine, right? I think Chicago would have easily taken care of them, easily helped them to society, and Chicago wouldn't really be going broke. In fact, what Chicago really needs to do is spend hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure their south side is actually intact. It's chaos. There's food deserts. There's pharmacy deserts. High crime. You got like hundreds of carjackings every single month. You also have a lot of gun violence in Chicago, but none of that it will ever be solved, especially when they're spending this much money on the migrant crisis. So this is not great, right? Now we got a bunch of migrants sleeping on the streets after some of the evictions. Now here you go. You even got a U.S. veteran being evicted to house migrants. It's getting pretty bad. The dude says that he was evicted from his New York City nursing home in order for the city to house migrants. Dude's pretty angry. He's not pleased at all. And he also says that our state is basically deteriorating down to nothing. What a lot of people are saying is many of these migrants are being treated way better than some of our own homeless population and even some of the elderly. And here's the thing. The cities that we live in, like from New York to Chicago to Denver, we're not exactly super duper rich, okay? It's not like oil money Dubai rich. I mean, New York City and Chicago have their limits. Right? They are spending hundreds of millions, and New York is spending billions on the migrant crisis. Something that it didn't really need to do. Like I said, you can be a sanctuary city, but just watch how many people you take in. Like New York's like, I don't care. Let's just take in as many people as we want to. Chicago, the same thing. Let's just take in 50, 70. Let's try 120,000 people. Let's try to take in millions of people. This is what's happening here. This is why Chicago's going broke. Okay, this is why Chicago doesn't have more money. And now they're even housed in schools. Chicago migrants are now in schools. They're being housed in several different shelters. Many of the areas in the south side are being turned as migrant camps. I mean, obviously, many of the people in Chicago who live in Chicago are not happy, right? The lady here is saying that her schools are basically being turned to migrant shelters. They pay a lot of taxes to keep these schools running. This is coming out of the taxpayers' pocket, essentially, and taxpayers get nothing in return. All they really get is the massive deterioration of their city. I think Chicago can never catch a break at this point because they got like high crime, they got Chirac stuff, and then you got like the pandemic, and then businesses are leaving, and now you got the migrant crisis. Like these guys in Chicago just can never catch a break, right? It just seems like Chicago, they don't know. They're just being ran to the ground at this point, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Now, if you check out this, Denver is basically cutting many of their services. In fact, they even stopped planting flowers to make room for some money here. Denver recreational centers, DME offices are first to cut back hours to help pay for the migrant crisis. Got the mayor, Mike Johnston, outlines plans to shave $5 million from city budget after border deals collapse. This is wild. This is the first time where citizens actually feel the big impact, where you actually have public services like if you try to renew a nice license, well, good luck, right? Oh, recreational center? Yeah, some of them might just be closed. And the city will probably cut back on some of the hygiene, a little bit of the fire department and the health department. You're also seeing that Denver is basically collapsing. You have a city of just 700,000 people taking in 40,000 people. That's basically asking you to destroy your own city. And look at this. Colorado residents are in uproar after rumors that Lakewood, which is an area right next to Denver, might become a sanctuary city for migrants. People are fed up with this. People don't want to deal with this anymore. Many residents are not down for this, especially the homeowners and business owners. And a lot of taxpayers ask the same thing. Why is the city even doing this? Like, what's like the point of doing this, right? Especially when you take in this many people, you kind of know you can't take care of all of them. What's the point of bringing in all these people if you can't take care of them? And if you're just going to evict them and make them sleep on the streets, what's the point? And that's why everyone's kind of angry right now. That's really about it. That's my rant. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. How do you guys feel about the migrant crisis right now? And do you guys think it will ever get solved?